Teachers wished your classes were like that.
I'd like to call to order the August 13th, 2019 Seminole County Public Schools School Board meeting. Let the record reflect that all school board members, legal counsel, and superintendent are in attendance. At this point in time, I'd like to turn the podium over to Vice Chairman Allman to lead us in an invocation and pledge.
Thank you. Students, life is full of challenges, and challenges are full of opportunities to learn. Never get scared from challenges, and always welcome the chance to learn new things in life in order to grow and prosper. Teachers, your job as a teacher is to inspire your students, but that leaves you asking one important question: who's going to inspire you? Teaching isn't just about knowing your topic. Those who know do. Those who understand teach. That's by Aristotle. For those days when you forget why you do what you do, remember, one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher can change the world. Malali Yousafzai. I apologize if I butchered that name. The true reach of your lessons, a teacher affects eternity. He or she can never tell where their influence stops. Henry Adams. Because teaching isn't just a profession, the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. Staff, the difference between success and failure is your great team. You are appreciated and recognized as equally important for supporting our students, their families, and our teachers. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Helen Keller, wishing each and every one of you the very best in this new year from all of us. Please stand for the pledge. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Allman. Some wonderful thoughts to ponder as we start our new school year. At this point in time, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Dan Smith, our president of the Seminole Education Association, and Melissa Pugh, president of the County Council PTAs. Thank you for being here this evening. We appreciate it very much. I did before. Thanks. At this point in time, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Griffin to see if there are any agenda modifications.
Thank you, Dr. Calderon. There is one item. The addendum for good cause is marked on an electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item.
And school board members, do you have any agenda modifications or items for removal or questions?
No modifications for me.
Okay, I do. I would like to remove item 5E for separate consideration, please. And I have a comment on 5I. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda outline?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. We have quite a few recognitions this evening, so if you'd all join us out front.
Good evening, Dr. Griffin, board members. Tonight we are proud to recognize Mr. Larry Brown for his service. Mr. Brown is a decorated veteran who dedicated 20 years of his life to the U.S. Army. Mr. Brown held various jobs while enlisted to include cannon crewman, infantryman, and transportation sergeant. He did 3 tours in Germany and was stationed in Korea, Washington, Fort Stewart, Georgia, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and Fort Pope, Louisiana. Mr. Brown was born and raised in Sanford, Florida. He is an alumnus of Seminole County Public School System. He attended Hopper, Sanford Middle, Crooms, and graduated from Seminole High School. Mr. Brown has worked for Seminole County Public Schools for over 20 years. He began his SCPS journey as a custodian for Redbug Elementary. He was a head custodian at Evans Elementary and a custodial plant maintenance employee at Jackson Heights Middle School. He is currently an area custodial supervisor for the district. Mr. Brown is a pleasure to work with and has many positive attributes, to include being a leader, hardworking, and forward-thinking. Mr. Brown always takes time out of his busy schedule to share a word of encouragement and a smile. His positive attitude is contagious. In his daily duties, Mr. Brown is dedicated to ensuring custodians in the district have the essential tools and skills needed to be successful each day while providing a clean, healthy, and safe learning environment for all SCPS students and staff. Mr. Brown enjoys jazz, folk music, and movies, and he loves spending quality time with his family. He is joined tonight by his mother, Rebecca Brown, his father, Lawrence C. Brown, and credits them both for turning out so well. He is also joined by his SCPS facilities and custodial and maintenance family. We are so proud of him, and tonight we are honored to have Mr. Brown on our team and appreciate the opportunity to work with him each day. Thank you for your service.
Good evening, school board members and Dr. Griffin. The mission of SECME is to increase the pool of historically underrepresented and underserved students who will be prepared to enter and complete post-secondary studies in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, thus creating a diverse and globally competitive workforce. SECME has a legacy of engaging K-12 students in STEM research competitions in the areas of engineering design and STEM research and writing. This year, 2 middle schools had first-place winners who were recognized at the SECME National Competition, which was held in June at the University of Florida. First, we're going to recognize the SECME team at Millwee Middle School Pre-Engineering Magnet, who won first place in the Engineering Design Water Bottle Rocketry Competition. The members of this team include Emma Esteban, Lance Harmon, and Connor Black, who is not in attendance. Student Jacob Henderson also placed first in the Essay Vision Board competition. Jacob, please join your team. And they're joined this evening by the SECME coordinators, Mrs. Carol Unterreiner and Miss Lucy Coker. Next, we will recognize the SECME team, the Engineering Eagles from Sanford Middle School's Math, Science, and Technology Magnet, who won first place in the Engineering Design Mousetrap Car competition. The team members are Kira Henriquez, Emily Lightfoot, and Ishika Nag. They are joined this evening by their parent coach, Mr. Pratyush Nag, Principal Byron Durius, And I would also like to invite the other parents. I've heard that it is a family affair at SECME at Sanford Middle School. So the parents who've helped cultivate this team and support them, please join us in our photograph this evening. Thank you so much for your support. Parents, grandparents, please join us.
Dr. Griffin and board members, it is my privilege to recognize the Gilder Lemon Institute of American History 2019 Florida History Teacher of the Year from Crooms Academy of Information Technology. Let's bring up Lindsay Bundrick, 2019 Florida History Teacher of the Year. With her tonight in the audience, I see the principal of Crooms Academy, Dr. Brandon Hanshaw, and I believe we see the assistant principal, Mariette Hero, also. Congratulations, 2019 Florida History Teacher of the Year from Crooms Academy, Lindsay Brundrick.
Board members and Dr. Griffin, we'd like to introduce our new elementary assistant principals. First, Jamie Barrero, if you would please come on down. Jamie is our new assistant principal at Wilson Elementary School. She's been teaching for the last 15 years, first in Puerto Rico at the elementary level. She moved to Florida in 2007 and has taught early childhood and then first, second, and fifth grades at Lake Orienta Elementary. In the last 2 years, she has been an instructional coach at Millennium Middle School. So we got her back to elementary. She earned her bachelor's in elementary education and a master's in educational leadership, and she's been working now in Seminole County for 8 years. With her tonight are her 2 children, Giovanni Barrera, who is a sophomore at Seminole High School, and Mia Barrera, a 5th grader at Geneva Elementary, and her parents, Daryl and Kim Parker, and also her principal, Mr. Ryan Gard Harold, is here. So if all of you would stand up and be recognized, please.
Also, board members, I'd like to introduce the new assistant principal at Midway Elementary School of the Arts, Olga Lynn Wood. Mrs. Woods earned her undergraduate degree in education for students with emotional handicaps at Florida International University, her master's degree in ed leadership from the University of Central Florida, and her teaching career began in 1997 at John G. Dupas Elementary in Miami-Dade County. In 2006, she and her husband, who is also a Seminole County public school teacher, moved to Central Florida, where he began teaching at Bentley Elementary School. In 2015, Mrs. Woods was a semifinalist for the Seminole County Teacher of the Year. With Mrs. Woods tonight, along with everyone that you saw, is her husband, Mr. Matthew Woods, who is a teacher at Bentley Elementary, Savannah Claro, daughter, Jesse Duminsky, son, Stephen Gross, son, Tyler Desky, future son-in-law, Chrissy and Eric Riley, sister and brother-in-law, and Anna Varela, niece. Would you all please just stand so we can recognize you? Thank you. Mrs. Lambert, if Mrs. Lambert is here, the principal of Midway, yes, she is also here.
Wow, that's quite the crowd. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our newest AP over at Endeavor Hopper School, Carissa Curran. Yay. Yay. Carissa began her teaching career in Seminole County in 2004 at Wicklow, where she taught kindergarten, first, and third grade. Carissa then went on to become an instructional coach and a SAM at Pinecrest Elementary School, an instructional coach at Millennium Middle School. Carissa has her undergraduate degree in elementary education, her master's degrees in reading and educational leadership. Along with her tonight and supporting her is her parents, Chris and Lynn Curran, and her nephews, Brantley and Cole, as well as her principal, Paul Harshman.
They're all leaving us.
We understand. Get some rest. Have a great day tomorrow. Thank you for being here.
Happy third day tomorrow.
Yes.
You all are going to be
enjoy.
missing the most exciting part of the meeting, but
I have some really interesting things to say, y'all.
Warm welcome for Mr. Godrow.
Didn't work, right? Shucks.
Really, he's a good guy.
They're exhausted. They want to go home and rest their feet.
Mr. Godrow, I don't know.
I just want to know if anybody's left
Dr.
a
Griffin and board
millennium.
members, the executive directors would like to give you a little information on the first day. High schools, we visited all 9 high schools yesterday, and I am proud to say everything really looked great. Small issues going on, everyday issues that you would have. As a matter of fact, it was hard to believe it was the first day of school. Some of the highlights, we started at Seminole High School, and most of you were there at 6:30 with the ringing of the bell to signify the official start of the 2019-2020 school year. We went to a classroom and saw a lesson on how you eat an Oreo can determine the type of personality that you are. Rick Francis failed that lesson, but that's another issue. We actually got iced coffee at Patriots Point. And then Dr. Griffin and I were very, very, very excited about a functions lesson in Algebra 2 we saw on the first day of school. So overall for the high schools, it looked like day 37, day 82, day 121. Everything went great. Myself and Captain Francis and Dr. Griffin and Dr. Calderon were all together along with Michael Lawrence and Jed Ackerman. So great day for the high schools. One of the things the high schools are going to focus on this year, one of my directives towards them, to the principals and to the assistant principals, is we've had professional development and resources and support for our high schools, mainly through A&A and DTL. But a lot of what we've done has been voluntary, and probably, I know for a fact, not all the schools are taking advantage of what we have to offer. One of the things that really struck me when we were in the deep dive is our Common 9 Weeks exams have a high correlation to how students are going to do on the FSA. And I know for a fact not all of our teachers know enough about the Common 9 Weeks exams because we've made a lot of the PD voluntary. That's going to end this year. I'm going to mandate that all of the PD that we're doing that shows correlations like that, what's on the 9 Weeks exam, how it correlates to FSA, all the things that Dr. Gard-Harold's setting up with our math and all the things that Kelly Thompson is setting up with AA are going to be mandatory. And we'll find times to put it in. We're not going to be pulling teachers out of class 3 times a week. We have times that we can do that. So that's one of the big changes in high school. I just felt like that fell on me, that we had too many teachers with great resources out there, and the teachers don't have the resources through a lot of times no fault of their own. So that's one of the big things we're going to be doing in high school this year, is making sure that we utilize what we have at the district office to help prepare students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I'd like to introduce, because they're being shy, Ms. Demetria Faison.
Good evening.
Evening.
On the first day of school, I was able to make it to 8 of the middle schools. I followed up with visits to 3 yesterday, and I have 1 more visit tomorrow. But again, everything went pretty smoothly. A couple of tears from some 6th graders at a couple of the sites, but everything else went pretty smoothly. As expected on the first day, I was joined by Member Kraus at Lawton Childs and had just a great visit over there, and also was very excited about all of the middle school STEM labs that were ready to go and were filled with students on this first day of school. The one bold action that we're going to continue to focus on in middle school is focusing on increasing access to Algebra 1 for proficient grade 8 students. I've been working in collaboration with the data quality team and the assessment and accountability department to monitor enrollment data for proficient students. Literally, I emailed the updated rosters to the principals this evening for their review with their teams. We will also continue to provide coaching for assistant principals to help them better support algebra teachers within their professional learning communities to improve classroom instruction, increase student engagement, and students' standards mastery, and to refine the algebra workshop, which we rolled out last year, which was developed to provide instruction of the pre-algebra standards that may need to be revisited to allow for additional instruction to make deeper connections with Algebra 1 content and to teach prerequisite standards for geometry success. So a lot of work still to happen in middle schools, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Next, we will have elementary schools.
Good morning, board members. Afternoon. Evening. Yes. It's been a long morning, long day. So from elementary school, just want to say we had a wonderful first day. With the help of the team, the executive team, the support of the superintendent, we had them join us in visiting all 37 elementary schools. I was joined by Member Sanchez, so we did our visits. Kids and students and staff were happy to be back at work. Lots of smiles. I only saw 1 student in tears. We quickly got him quieted down, but it was a great day overall. Administrative teams were on the car ramp, they were on the bus ramp, we were assisting parents, and so all in all, it was a great day. A shout out to our facilities department, our transportation department, our SROs, food service, everyone on yesterday was in place, and we are very happy to report it was a good first day for us.
So our instructional focus for this year at the elementary level will be to continue building capacity for increased enrollment and access to 4th and 5th grade primes classes. This year, our enrollment, based on data we just got today, in 5th grade has increased by 220 students over last year's number, and we are expecting to increase that over the next few weeks as principals continue to make some adjustments based on our conversation with them at our principals meeting. We're currently reviewing 4th grade pre-primes enrollment numbers, and we expect to have some updates with that soon. We also would like to work with the teaching and learning department to review and update our current primes curriculum in anticipation for the 2021 school year. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The student support services has 2 divisions. We have ESE and we have student supports for other services that we provide for our students. So I first want to say it was a great start of the year. All hands were on deck. We had some new units that we opened up across the district, and we had all of our folks deployed, our physical therapists, PT, OT, everyone was out and all hands were on deck. I had the opportunity to go to elementary schools with Member Kraus, and we also went to our special center school, and the kids were smiling and happy and engaged. Teaching was taking place first day. So we had some big, bold objectives and things that we're going to be doing this school year on both sides of those divisions. The one for ESC, these are students that have to grow more than a year, and our focus is really going to do to take and drill down in that data to determine what additional services and how we have to tier those services to support the students. We're going to look at support facilitation to make sure that we're getting the best bang for the buck and the kids are getting the most support that they need. On the student services side, we have mental health supports that we've been rolling out. Dr. Griffin and our board members have supported this throughout at the initiation and throughout the year. We are finding that we need to offer a lot more support, so we are tiering our support. So we have school counselors, we also have our school psychs, we have our social workers, and we have our district mental health counselors that will be tiered and working with our students and doing groups across the district. So that's all we have for our side of the house.
Thank you so much. Any comments or questions, board members? Ms. Almond.
Comments. I want to say thank you and kudos to Kim Dove and the maintenance team. We saw the list of AC that had gone out across the district, and you really responded in beyond a timely manner. So thank you very much. And to Duke Energy for their quick response. At Oviedo High School, there was a lightning strike and the power went out. So thank you.
And while we're saying thank you, I don't see anybody from transportation, but Julie and her entire division were rock stars. I mean, to waving at us at 4:30 in the morning and making sure that every single child was home safe and sound in time for dinner on the first day of school is just amazing. And they're just the first caring face and caring words that our students hear each day, and it sets the mindset for the whole school day. So we can't ever thank them enough.
And I wanted to say thank you to PTA for coming out to Goldsboro when the AC was down, and really appreciate them bringing ice and water for every child, as well as fans for the classrooms, and that was extremely helpful. So thank you, PTA.
It was exciting. All of the first, as a new board member, I'm not new anymore, I guess, but it was exciting to wave off the bus drivers as they headed out. And Dr. Griffin said the same thing. All of us didn't sleep very much. It's like the first day of school. We were excited. So thank you for all that you do every single day at every level. We're very blessed.
I have to say I was impressed going into the classrooms and already seeing the teaching. We walked into many classrooms where they were already doing the social, emotional, teamwork building to talk about how teamwork works and how it affects other people. And, you know, we don't waste time, get right to work. And so that was, and kids were right in there learning, involved, and it was wonderful to see.
It really was. We're blessed. At this point in time, we move on to public comment, and I have one form for Mr. Dan Smith, if you could approach, please. Ms. Elman, could you share our public comment policy? Thank you.
The public input segment of the meeting is provided for the purpose of permitting persons to present specific matters to the board for its consideration and action or referral to the superintendent and his staff. The public input segment of the meeting is not open to presentation of campaign issues by political candidates, matters involving student disciplinary actions, pending employee disciplinary matters, or pending litigation. Each individual member of the public is limited to 3 minutes, and a designated group representative may have up to 6 minutes. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dan Smith. I am a citizen of Seminole County, Florida. I'm also employed by Seminole County Public Schools as a teacher. Presently, I am the president of the Seminole Education Association, for which I'm speaking in today on a couple of points. Number one, thanks, really thanks for the last couple of weeks in numerous areas. First of all, thanks for the entire group I see here that came and gave your time on Monday, August 5th, to the Seminole Education Association Back to School event. It really was nice to have all of you there, and the teachers, I think you know, if you don't hear it, I think you do know, it really makes a difference. For the time, I know you guys are busy, we're asking you a day before pre-plan, we're asking you a week before lots of students show up. And I can tell you, just as a parent, I didn't read any books on it, it just came to me, and my kids turned out okay, and I think you know that just showing up has a lot to do, and it's not very difficult, but thank you. Also, thanks for having an outstanding opening. Very few complaints from our teachers, and if there were any, they were addressed and resolved in hours. Thank you for allowing the high schools to hold the ratification vote that is soon to come. I really do appreciate that all, and thank you for the safety in school stuff that you've done. I heard parts of two speeches in the schools during last week, and I got to hear your press event today, which was very good, very well done. Thought it was good information, and I'm really glad that everybody's on board with the headphone issue too. I didn't really see that, but the teachers are going to be far beyond you with that. I just ask you to please, in addition to the teachers, to just keep the communications open with a lot of the organizations and the groups that are in Seminole County. If they ask for time and you can somehow come up with it, they do have input and something to say, and a lot of them are very involved in getting their own stuff together, all right? Now, that aside, if I could just move over to one thing that's in the beginning that I'm just aware of and ask you to consider it. When I was transitioning from classroom teacher in the spring into president in the summertime, when I spoke to a lot of the teachers, one of the issues they're having, and it could be confusion, is the school-based discipline referrals that they're having. I don't really notice that there was a change that I saw, but the teachers were telling me largely that, understand this generalization in this case, that the discipline is not being disposed of and the students aren't getting consequences. I'm sure that's not 100%, but they have noticed a change of the referrals that are writing, just they're either disappearing or not being disciplined. And I think you can talk to your school leaders based on that. I will tell you that I'd asked about a year ago just to get it explained to me by one of the school-based principals, and I thought I knew it because it's posted, okay, but it is a little bit confusing. So what I'm asking is, as I've asked the school reps who are going to have the collaborative improvement teams and the building committees to try to get some information specifically they can roll out to the teachers on the present discipline referral piece. Some of the frustration may just be miscommunication or lack of communication. I don't think our teachers expect you to go from 0 to 100 the first time it happens. Most of them understand, and they take care of and do a lot of interventions beforehand, but I think some of them don't really understand why certain things don't get back to them. And I'm asking our teachers, at least in August, to try to get that together. And I'm asking if you could somehow make that clear, because I know it's not, when you get to different levels and everything, I know it's a little bit confusing, and maybe it's a burden, but I think that would alleviate a lot of the teachers' concerns if they saw that, all right? Otherwise, thank you very much. Pleasure working with you guys, and thanks again for everything you did so far. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Dr. Griffin, moving over to the consent agenda, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I do. My recommendation is that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. I just wanted to make one comment on 5I, which was our vending machine. I just didn't want anybody to read the board agenda and think that we're putting all these high caffeinated, high sugar drinks in the machines. That was just an example from the vendor, and in that we were just awarded one of the top wellness organizations to work in Central Florida. We wanted to walk the walk, so it will have all healthy drinks and water within our vending machines in the school district. I didn't want anybody to read it and be misinterpreting that we were not very pro-wellness and the health of our students and our staff. So that was my only comment. So seeing a motion and a second without any further comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. I pulled item 5E for separate consideration. pursuant to Florida statute section 112.3143, and to avoid even the appearance of a conflict, I am abstaining from this vote as it may result in a special gain or loss for a relative. Dr. Griffin, do you have a recommendation for 5E?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. My recommendation is that the School Board of Seminole County approve the benefits departments to move forward on renewing the following plans: Cigna Medical, Pharmacy, Wellness Program, EAP plans, and individual stop-loss coverage. In addition, that the School Board of Seminole County approve the benefits department to move forward on the following voluntary benefit plans: Cigna short-term, long-term disability, and Cigna worksite plans, Sun Life Dental, United Healthcare Vision, the Standard Life Insurance, and Unum Long-Term Care.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign, and I will abstain. Motion passes 4. Okay, moving on to student disciplinary hearings. We don't have any. Any unfinished business or new business, or the superintendent's report, Dr. Griffin?
There is no unfinished or new business, and the superintendent's report is read-only.
Thank you. And moving on to board committee updates, I'm not so sure any of us have any because the 5 of us have been joined at the hip running together at the schools. Is there any additional comments that any board member needs to share at this time? Seeing none.
I think
Ms.
the only
Bennett?
thing that we all have recognized is the community support for all the back-to-school events that have been done for our students to make sure every student has the supplies, and we're greatly appreciative of everyone that pulled together and made sure that those happened.
It truly does take the entire village, and I think we've seen that shining over the past 24 hours. So I wish all of our teachers, our staff, our administrators, our students, and our families a phenomenal new school year. We are blessed to work beside each and every one of you. This meeting stands adjourned.